the Intel Extreme Masters Katowice. It is season 7 of the Intel Extreme Masters right now, and StarCraft 2 is well and truly underway in Group B. Next matchup will be a thriller.
Exactly. Witajcie ponownie. Ostatni mecz grupy przed nami. Przed momentem widzieliście już zapowiedzi grupy C, ale teraz zapraszamy graczy.
So, our next two matchup is the last of Group B. It matters a great deal indeed to the Ukrainian. First up, Bly!
Duże brawa!
And I guess you could call him a hometown hero, or at least a home country hero. He is Polska's very own Mana! Fireworks as well, I love it. I said to you earlier on when we were off camera, how amazing is it to play in this arena in front of Polish people? It's fantastic, right?
It's amazing, it's completely fantastic. I have no words for it. I feel very comfortable out on the stage, so it's just amazing.
But you also said to me you haven't had time to practice very much recently, and has that shown in your results? Am I being mean?
No, even though I didn't practice much, I practice efficiently. So I'm playing very smoothly. I feel very, very good in my game. I don't make any stupid mistakes, so I feel very good about it.
Okay, so last game against Bly, it doesn't really matter for you, but there's pride, obviously. You want to win in front of the Polish people, but you can stop him going through. Does that give you a little bit of extra motivation?
Of course, less Zergs, it's better.
Less Zergs, you heard it here.
Bly, tell me, the game with Lucifron was really close. We watched it with our hearts beating really strong. What do you think you have to do to win against Mana? Because this is all or nothing, I believe.
I'm Zerg, I don't need to do anything.
That's an answer. Okay, guys, good luck.
Okay, shake hands, have a great game. Bly versus Mana then is the last game of Group B. And who better to dissect it in its minutiae than our three wonderful analysts, of course, QXC from Complexity, Todd, and the one and only Mr. Jarrett Kale.
Oddajemy głos naszym komentatorom, ekspertom.
And this place has come alive again. You can feel the energy, man. I love getting the Polish players on stage. Mana versus Bly, Entombed Valley. How's this one going to play out?
It's you, man.
You're the Protoss.
I'm just looking at you.
It's funny that they play on Tomb Valley again as first. I would predict kind of the same as what Parting did, basically, but Bly will obviously try to do better. He did not go his way. I'm pretty sure that Mana saw those games. Even if he had been playing, there's always a way, like you can catch the replays online or something. IEM, one of the Intel Extreme Masters, one of the only tournaments that posts the replays as the match finish every time. That's like one of the best things. I always download everything when I'm home. But yeah, I get to see everything firsthand here, and maybe Mudas, I have to say, from again from Bly, but just better build, quick third this time. I'm pretty sure that Mana is going to open Forge Expand in this game, so that's totally different than what Parting did. But we saw Parting win very convincingly against Bly on this map.
Definitely.
It's going to be much harder for Mana, I feel, just because Parting is just like one level above, or many levels above everybody else.
Except me.
Except
I could
you?
totally take him.
You could beat Parting, PvP?
Yeah, no problem.
I think Mana is pretty much through his group right now. He's at a...
He will be through for sure if he wins this match.
Yeah, and
He's 3-1, right?
I think he might only be 2-1.
No, he's 3-1 for sure.
3-1 for sure?
Yeah.
Then almost certainly he's through in the group.
Yeah, I would say...
Almost certainly, but maybe not.
It would be
I don't
very
want to make that call.
unlikely and confusing if he were to not pass, regardless of this match score. But Bly is
top
really...
Top 3 advances, right?
What?
Top 3 advances.
Yeah, top 3.
Yeah.
Where is Mana's third win?
Siphon, it's not really yet.
Oh, it's not there yet.
He did
All
beat
right.
Siphon.
That's right. Another score update. Yoda took out Juk 2-0. And TLO took out Snoot 2-1. Snoot not doing what a lot of people told me he was going to do.
Actually pretty surprising here.
I think that leaves Snoot. He's at least 2 losses, 1 and 2. I think he is.
He's in a precarious position.
He's on the ropes, man.
Yep.
He is. Yep.
We'll have to see. Bly, very important match for him right now. I have to see if he tries something particularly crazy, if maybe nerves are going to affect him. I don't know. We'll just have to take a look and see.
Well, we're going to see soon. The game is loading. We're ready to go to the casters. This is going to be great. I'm going to cover my ears.
What?
Cover your ears from what? Ooh, look at this.
I will get annihilated.
assimilated more than annihilated yet, but I have a new scarf, so now I'm rooting for Poland apparently, and therefore a little bit for Mana. Carmack gave me a scarf earlier.
That is a big one over there. Big flag in the crowd.
That's a little bit too big for me. I'm sorry. But yeah, the next game is going to be an exciting one. Another Zerg versus Protoss. Mana up against Bly. The first map is going to be Entombed Valley, which is going to be a really, really interesting game.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be a great game. And so let's load in.
Starting to the top right of the map in red, we have the Protoss player from our spots, and Poland, it's Mana! And cross position to the bottom left in blue, his opponent, the Zerg player for Team Asa. We have Bly.
All right, well, let's see how this one's going to unfold. I think we are going to have quite an interesting game. Remember, this specific map within the ESL, the Intel Stream Masters tournament, is cross-position only, which is why we see the Overlord going directly through the middle, and likewise the Probe.
Yeah, same is true for the Probe. He wants to know exactly what's going on here. There's always the danger of a Zerg player on a big map like this, trying to surprise you with an early pool, something that Bly will not do here.
Bly had quite a successful year, to be honest. It's definitely, you can call it a successful year previously. And we do see a 13 spawning pool, just to clarify that. He had a successful year last year in 2012. A lot of online wins, The closest he came to an offline victory was second place at DreamHack Bucharest. But on the other hand, Mana in 2012 skyrocketed to the top. He won ESWC most recently in November. He won DreamHack Summer, claimed his first StarCraft 2 tournament at DreamHack Summer, and then went on to win his second. He's only 19 years old. He's been in StarCraft forever because he's been playing since he was like 9, and he seems a lot older than he is in terms of gaming years, but he's only 19 and a lot more to come from him as well.
Yeah, definitely. We can expect a lot from him in the future. And you know, having those two face each other again is really funny because they have been playing against each other so often. We actually have them in televised matches with an even score, 50%. We have Bly winning 2 of the last 3 engagements. Mana on the last time they faced each other, which was actually a DreamHack winner, which you just mentioned. There he was able to claim victory. And this is going to be very interesting as they know the style of their opponent. And with Mana playing a Zerg player, I'm always a little bit on the edge because, let's be honest about it, against Zerg for some reason he makes so many mistakes just when he doesn't have a Zealot, for example, on hold position in his wall. Run-bys, when he was in Korea, we actually recorded a lot of replays and were thinking about making like a highlight video where he loses to Zerg players just because of a run-by because he forgot to press hold position. And this is something that he's been trying to work on, and he definitely did. But it's always a little bit scary to see him up against a Zerg. And
Bly is not a usual Zerg player. He likes his 2-base spies, he likes his 2-base Hydras, but he also likes his early aggression. And we see the Roach Warren planted down very early after the gas was taken very early as well here. So he's at 18 supply right now. He's just pushed his supply a little bit further up to 34. And in a moment, we're going to see a lot of roaches being made. There is one scouting probe out there.
He doesn't build any drones anymore, and this is Bly's best matchup and Mana's worst. So here come those roaches that you've been talking about. The 3rd base is currently being built, so he will have a follow-up for this. Mana, on the other hand, what is he going to build in the early stages? He's not skipping on the Zealot, but he needs, of course, also a little bit of DPS. And 1 cannon, what do you think? 1 cannon enough to hold this?
Not so much, not so much. But the real difficulty with Mana right now, he's going to go in and be like, oh, there's no 3rd. Oh, are we going to have this 2-base Spire with 2-base Infest? What are you doing? If it was another Zerg, it would be like, oh, hold on a minute. Are you doing something aggressive? But this turn, this kind of play here, may look normal to Mana. It may look normal because this is how Bly plays. He doesn't play normal. And Mana isn't building an additional cannon because of that fact. He's not, he's getting +1. He's got no idea he's building a second Stalker or his first Stalker even. He hasn't got a sentry down, and this very well could just be game.
Bly is fully committing to this. He's not getting any additional harvests now. He's just going for additional roaches. We have him with the speed upgrade for the Zerglings. A little bit too late to have an immediate speedling follow-up, but still strong enough to put a lot of pressure on Mana if that roach attack is not going to succeed. But now What does Mana have? One cannon and one stalker. That's not going to be enough. There's not even a sentry out just yet. And this cannon is not going to survive. Mana immediately drops additional cannons. He needs to hold somehow, but does he have what it takes? It doesn't look like he can pull it off.
We're about to find out. Probes are going to try and buffer it and buy as much time as possible. These cannons have to complete if Mana wants to be able to win this game. He's trying to wall the top of his ramp as well to build an additional cannon too, but these roaches are doing a lot. There's a lot of probes going down. Behind this, drones are coming, so Bly doesn't necessarily need to have to kill Mana right out. As long as he does significant amounts of damage, the cannon's complete, this position will be held, but let's find out the extent of the damage here.
23 Harvesters killed already, but still Mana on 16 against 19 Harvesters. The problem is the Cybernetics score. Cybernetics score gone, and therefore the tech delayed only the robotics. That's what he was able to build before that. But the cannon is unpowered, all two of them. That is really horrible now for Mana. Suddenly he's down to 8 Harvesters, and those roaches are still alive and kicking.
Yeah, this, like I said before, it's very difficult to specifically pin Bly on this attack because of the way Bly likes to play, and we now have this, again, fortified with the cannons, but you said 8 probes, man. He's got no income. He's down to 8 supply. He's got a stalker and 6 probes. And behind this, 22 drones to really guarantee, even if Mana was to hold on, I have 22 drones. I have the ability to make even more.
And he has the Zergling follow-up now with the speed, and they are rushing towards the top right, trying to end the dreams of Mana in game number 1. The Nexus is about to go down, and the Zerglings, they will now enter the second wave for the attack. He's running in, he's running up the ramp into the main base, and there it is, GG in game number 1. Aces Bly with an early win on Entombed Valley.
A very early win, and remember, Bly is sitting at 2 wins and 2 losses. He needs this win. You can see the emotion flowing from that victory. All he needs is one more, and he may be able to guarantee himself in the top 3. But behind the other guy he has to play against, we have this crowd. We have them supporting Mana, being able to push him and power him through to make the comeback possible. So definitely an option here for Mana to come back.
Yeah, Mana is definitely one of those guys that has the mindset to go into a second games without being affected by an early loss. You mentioned that he's only 19 years old, but I feel that he's one of those pro gamers who really has the perfect attitude for playing a game like this. He has the calm that he needs when he needs it, and he's always just trying to improve himself, finding something to improve in this play. And he will look at this game and be like, okay, I was surprised. I lost the game, but I can still take this best of 3. I definitely can do that.
I agree, and I think the way that Mana's going to be looking at that is basically saying, all right, cheap win. Congratulations, you did it. Now let's play. Now let's see what you've got. Can you beat me on the next map, which is going to be Daybreak between these 2 players? But Bly's given himself a nice advantage going over to Daybreak. Daybreak's a pretty good map for Zerg versus Protoss. His Mutalisk style is incredibly strong here. There's a lot of different play styles too, and Mana is going to be pinned up against the wall here. Like QXC said, like Todd said as well, Mana is already at 3 wins and 1 loss. He's pretty much got his top 3 position. He's going to advance through, but what seeding is it? Is it 3rd? Is it 2nd?
Exactly. And the thing about Bly is just he's such an annoying opponent to face. His style is so difficult to read. And the Mutalisk play that you mentioned earlier on Daybreak, this is something that we've seen so many players use. Nurture against Director, against Crater, that was something that we had seen at WCS.
Yeah.
And Bly, on the other hand, has now to do something in game number 2, and he's also in a position where he needs to find a new strategy and something that he can pull off against Mana. He knows that shenanigans like in game number 1 are probably not going to win him another map.
That's right, and we'll find out what's going to happen very shortly. But before we do that, we are going to go over to Todd and QXC, who are in a replay, and we're going to go over to Todd and have a quick look as he has something to show, just kind of explain a little bit deeper on what happened in that previous game.
Cool. So you have the replay loaded already. And
yeah, I'm not going to talk too much about what happened in the start. We basically saw Bly hiding his strategy. And let's go into the replay and see exactly when Bly reaches Mana's base here. It's already too late. If you look at the army supply, we have 26 versus 6 army supply. The sentry just started. It would have to be done here for Mana to have a chance to throw down enough cannons to be able to hold.
Yep.
And Bly, he just hit it so well, but Mana didn't put enough effort into trying to scout this. Like, he made one Zealot. This Zealot is supposed to claim the middle watchtower. If you have the middle watchtower, you can clean 4 links very easily, and you can see this coming. You have time to prepare. But that's not what Mana did. He made a Zealot very late, and then he left it here at his wall. Because of that, he didn't see the all-in coming, and he lost. It's as simple as that. So Bly basically just hid his strategy very well. The thing about Bly is that he really likes this type of rush and all-in. He used to do this a lot. These days, he's been toning it down, but there is always the option of him going for this kind of strategy still. So Mana not being careful enough here, and he got surprised.
Yeah, I think he'll definitely be a little more cautious in this next game, scout a little harder, and make sure he doesn't get caught off guard by something like that again.
Definitely. All right, we're going to give
back to Apollo and Kaldor. Take the next game from us.
All right, thank you, Todd and QXC, and welcome back, everybody, to the next game. Mana, with his Polish flag attached to his monitor, is ready. He's ready to rock and roll, Kaldor. Can he pull the comeback necessary?
I think he can. I definitely think that he can edge out a win on Daybreak and bring us into a third match. I would really love to see another map here. Going all the distance in this best-of-3 series with the tournament life of Bly on the line, and just look at him, talking to himself, just trying to pump himself up, getting into the spirit, the fighting spirit that he needs to win the next game. And Daybreak is loaded, guys. Mana versus Bly, map number 2. Mana has to win this if he wants to tie the series, but for Bly, there is so much on the line here. He needs to take it.
He does indeed, and look at that stone-cold killer face from Mana. That is the face of fear. And let's see him put that fear into energy, into a win, Kaldor, because that's what's needed going on to this map.
Bottom left of the map on Daybreak, we have him starting in red. It is the Protoss, it is Mousesports Mana! And his Zerg opponent with a 1-0 lead in the series. To the top right in blue, Asa Bly.
And from what I can read for you guys out in the crowd as well, is that from it seems, Lucifron was able to beat Parting 2-0. A big win for Lucifron there, being able to do that. And what now, more importantly for you guys out there, that technically opens an opportunity, depending on map score, for Mana to take first place in the group, because Mana and Parting, if Mana was to win, would be 4-1 each. But it's going to obviously be difficult because of map score. Mana is down a map here. He lost 0-2 to Parting as well earlier, so it's obviously not the best position to be in, but there's an opportunity.
There's an opportunity for him, and I really love this group. So far, Parting has been looking really dominant, but Lucifron here edges out another win, and this leaves us with a lot of possibilities here. But focusing back on our Zerg versus Protoss, I feel that both players have shown incredible play at this tournament so far. And Bly is also one of those, I feel one of those players that doesn't really receive a lot of public attention. He's doing so well in tournaments, but people still kind of underestimate him. So if you guys are actually using Twitter, make sure that you follow him as well. He's at Asa Bly. Mana, of course, the Polish hero here at this event, or one of the Polish heroes that we have in this tournament, is at Mouse Mana on Twitter. Apollo is at Apollo SC2, and I myself at Kaldor.
That's right, you can follow us and get updates of the tournaments, and of course the players are tweeting. We saw Bly tweet earlier before he played against Parting that he was going to jump off the train. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. He got
tried.
Stuck on it. He did try though. He did open the window but couldn't get out. And we do see gas early again. Mana hasn't seen it. Is Bly going to try and do something aggressive again here? That's what Mana's going to find out. He's got in.
Mana's getting into the main base. The Zergling is running towards the pylon. He wants the expansion, and now Mana at least knows that there is gas. So he's in the know. The pylon supply blocks him for a second, and of course Bly now with the expansion goes for the hatch, but the probe is still sticking around trying to dodge these Zerglings. Backed into a corner though.
To be honest, what I think Bly's going to do here is as soon as the probe dies, he'll take out a gas. He'll leave one in, he'll tick away to 100, he'll probably just go for speed, and then just play a mineral-only game from here. So that means taking a third base, droning intensively, getting the queens, but putting the indirect pressure on Mana. He can show links with speed. He can come in Mana's face, force an extra cannon maybe, force Mana to build an extra sentry and delay his tech. But playing mind games is what Bly's looking to do, and it's worked earlier on today in a different matchup. Maybe it can work here.
I really wouldn't be surprised to see Bly go for the Mutalisk play once again. Hey, it's just his style. He was really known for Mutalisk against Protoss, and he tried it against Parting. It didn't really work out, but his control is excellent, and it's always a deadly weapon in his hands. Mana is now just playing a standard style. We have him with a cybernetics core here before he starts to reveal his tech. And there are so many different choices for him. He's shown at a lot of events in the last year that he's really good with an immortal push on this map. Even though the map is not the best map for an immortal push, Stargate openings are becoming so much more popular, especially in Korea, in Brawley, in the GSL, that we could definitely see him opening with Phoenixes here as well.
Yeah, definitely a Phoenix option. And there's a second cannon, by the way. As we see, Mana is a little bit scared. And that probe is not going too far. It won't see the drone line, which is obviously what it's aiming towards, to see are there a lot of drones or units being made. Another probe try to escape too, and now you can see, you know, Mana knows that options of aggression is possible, but as you said, the build that comes out most regularly within this matchup in terms of harassment, scouting, preventing scouting more importantly, is the Stargate.
You know what I love about the Stargate most? Mana watched those games of Bly versus Parting, and he knows Bly. So he knows that Mutalisks are an option for the Zerg player. And if you suddenly have Phoenixes on the map, then Mutalisks are always a little bit in this weird spot. You need the right number of Mutalisks, you need to cluster them up so that you can get those shots off against the Phoenixes. With good micro, you can do a lot against Mutalisks if you have a bunch of Phoenix out on the map. And Mana, one of those players who has probably amongst the players that have the best micros in the game, at least in Europe.
That's right, he really does. And Mana's still freaking out. He's got 2 sentries. He chrono boosted the second sentry out as well. And unfortunately for Bly, didn't quite get the Stargate scout. So he doesn't know exactly what Mana's doing. But as we can see, Mana's very frightened of the potential possibilities that Bly could put into this game. But the longer the game goes on, as we're approaching the 8-minute mark now, the less likely Bly is going to do anything, and Mana knows that. He's starting to take the extra gases, starting to go back into heavy pro production with Chrono Boost most likely, and starting to look towards now using those Phoenixes which he's starting to build.
The placement for the Stargate is just so awesome. He knows exactly how Bly scouts in this matchup. And if you're familiar with an opponent and you know his scouting patterns, his overlord movements, then you can always hide your tech. And Mana with this great choice. Usually you would see the Stargate at the bottom left of the main base. That's not what he did, because he knew exactly that Bly will have an overlord there. So he builds it a little bit further to the right. And at this point, Bly has no idea what's going on here. He's going into the Spire tech exactly as we anticipated, and this is of course for him now a weird situation to be in. It all depends on how much Mana commits to the Phoenixes, but after 3, he stops for now, doesn't get any additional ones, at least for the time being, and goes into the robotics facility.
I'm definitely enjoying. He still didn't check the Stargate. Wow. That's quite big. No, he is going around again, and it does get revealed, and now is the true question. Will Bly dedicate to Mutalisks?
Yeah.
There's 4 Phoenixes about to be out, and they can easily keep on going. And obviously, he won't be able to use Mutalisks very much. And the answer is no, he's not. He's got the infestation bit down. He's going to go over to Infestors relatively fast. And now it's time for Mana to play some games.
And now Mana moving in with those Phoenixes that he has. He's trying to take down the Queens. There's already an early transfused Phoenix number 4 arrives, but one of the Phoenixes down. Not what you want to have. Mana with a bit of a problem with this micro here. Another transfuse hits home, and Bly saves all his Queens.
And look at that, 13 drones in the production tab. He is not going over to Mutalisks this time. Mana has successfully avoided that situation coming a reality here.
He cancelled.
He cancelled it last second as well, just to get the... No,
he didn't. Sorry, I missed it.
Oh, it's okay. So he did keep the Spire, and we'll continue with this on. But he's got a lot of gas. He's going to have a lot of Infestors shortly. But until those Infestors come out, there's time to play.
We have extra Queens, so many of them. 6 in total. 1 just got killed, so now he's down to 5. Mana currently looking at 57 Harvesters, but the 3rd base is once more blocked. This is something that Bly just doesn't miss. The Overlord is there, and even Zerglings. And this is the amount of Zerglings that's always a bit dangerous. If you only send out 1 Stalker to take down the Overlord, then those Lings kill it immediately.
Ooh,
but
he has gone to Mutalisks now. Look at that. He just waited, and he's built 13.
And that's the point that we raised earlier. You know, if you have the numbers, if you have this number that can clump up and just get 1 shot on the Phoenix, you can do so much damage. And now it's time where Mana has to think about what's going to be my follow-up. Do I get more Phoenixes, or do I just commit to the Stalkers, which is more likely? But he does both. He goes for the Blink Stalkers, he goes for additional Phoenixes. He's trying to use them both in a combination.
I mean, I'd love to ask Todd, to be honest, what Mana's thought process was there. We'll find out afterwards, because I think that Mana didn't scout the Spire, therefore Bly was like, well, he hasn't started or continued Phoenix production, so let's go for it.
And here we go, and I don't think that's enough. Bly retreats for now. He doesn't have all the Mutalisks at his army. The War Prism is able to get to the bottom right, completely undetected though, and this could potentially kill the third base of Bly.
Oh yeah, that's so true. The thing is, he doesn't have any supply to build any units. If he could morph in like 8 Zealots to kill the third, and it could be completely viable. But unfortunately now, Mana's supply blocked at 108. He has to build 2 pylons.
Mana now at 6 Phoenixes. The pylons are being built. The Mutalisks in the main base, trying to take down as much as possible. And here we are clustering up the Mutalisks, trying to get this death ball, getting into range, and Phoenix after Phoenix falling. 3 are left, 2 are left, and once more Bly is just chasing him down. Mana warping in additional Stalkers. Blink is not done yet.
Blink is not done yet. And this game is starting to get a little bit hairy here for Mana. He's losing a lot of probes on the natural. Phoenix is coming to do a bit of damage, but they just don't have enough damage output, and another Phoenix goes down. Bly looking to equal up this series the way that this... not equal up to this series, win this series. With this game, he'd go to 2-0, and Mana is on the back foot.
Mana can't keep up with the Phoenix production. Bly is going all out on those Mutalisks. He's already up to 23 and he's not stopping the Mutalisk production. He took down 17 Harvesters in total, which means that Mana is currently looking at 51 probes on 3 bases. Bly already up to 73, about to claim a 5th base. He has the 4th in the middle of the map. We have a hive tech for him. He is controlling this match at this point, and the Mutalisks, they are not done just yet. They are heading into the main base once again, and even fighting with the Stalkers here.
Yeah, this is not looking good for Mana, and well, he does chase out the Mutalisk, but so much damage has been done. The Templar Archives is coming down to actually go for Storm to deal with these units. But by the time the Storm is ready, the Hive is going to be done. We did see Zealots get warped in from that Warp Prison, but unfortunately not enough damage output there to actually bring the hatchery down. It's going to stay at 50%, half its life. And with that 4th base down and gas has been taken, Hive close to finishing. Where does Mana go?
+1 attack, that's what we have for the Mutalisks, for Bly, and here comes the Storm tech. If Mana gets good Storms off, they can take those Mutalisks apart within seconds, so Bly has to be really careful as soon as the upgrade is completed. But Mana is definitely still in trouble with 27 Mutalisks on the map. If Bly finds an opening and can maybe even take down the Templar Archive, we've seen it in the past, then suddenly Mana, I feel, cannot come back into this game. He needs to save those 2 bases, be very defensive, get the Storm Tech out, +3 attack, and then try to catch those Mutalisks a little bit off guard.
Oh, these Force Walls have to be perfect, otherwise these Lings are just going to swarm and kill and surround everything here. And there they come down, good force fields, but he's just targeting down the Nexus. Oh dear me, the Mutalisks are going to bring it down at the last minute.
He's playing this Terran style, stimming in, taking down the next, and then immediately back, hit and run. The base gone, Mana down to 2 mineral lines. This is very, very tough for the young Protoss player.
Yeah, this is really difficult, and Bly realizes that one of the options for Mana to possibly win this game would be a counter-attack, especially while he's at his weakest point, morphing the Great Aspire and getting ready for Broodlords. A decent trade here, remember? Mutalisks are willing to trade their life. They are at a bad efficiency, but...
The thing is, we have the Guardian Shield now. I mean, all the other fights that Bly was taking, there was no Sentry involved and no Guardian Shield, and the Guardian Shield makes a huge difference. But right now, with the Storm, Bly doesn't really feel confident anymore in these attacks. He just wants to hit and run, make sure that he's away as soon as Mana starts to defend. And as you pointed out, Apollo, he's getting so many Spine Crawlers now at home because he knows a counter-attack could be a problem, and he's just playing this very, very safe at this point.
Yeah, but the real question here for a lot of people at home and for our analyst desk as well, even if Bly wins 2-0, does he go through now that Lucifron got the 2-0 over Parting? It's going to come down to map score at the end, and that's what we're going to have to break down once this game's over, but it's not over yet.
Yeah, but it might well be in a few seconds, but not if Mana continues dropping force fields and Storm like this. Immediately catching all the Zerglings, dropping the Storm, not a single unit lost by Mana in the last fight, and he is going now immediately into the Fleet Beacon. And I'm really interested to see what he's going to do with the Fleet Beacon. Is he going for the Pulse Crystals? Is he going for the range upgrade and going into invest into Phoenix once again? I don't really see it happening, but at this point, it's an option.
I'm not sure. I feel that it's just going to be for the Mothership to start Phoenix production all over again now that Bly's looking to get rid of his Mulus. I suppose Mulus aren't the problem anymore. It's the Broodlords, which are going to be the real difficult thing for Mana to deal with. And I guess the Mothership's going to be the best option for Mana to deal with these Broodlords. He's going to have to land the Vortex. He's going to have to land Storms and an Archon. Without that, then I really can't see Mana to win this game.
The thing is, if you really want to catch up with the Phoenix, then you have to have double Stargate, and his problem is that the economy that he has does not really lend itself to get the upgrade for the range upgrade for the Phoenixes and then the double production. But those Mutals still doing damage here. 20 of them are left, heading into the main base, trying to take down the High Templar, and there it goes. Also, the next cannon is dead, and those Stalkers, they're not enough.
Yeah, and well, we are seeing Lings attacking, no Storms in the middle. Mulus just going crazy inside the main base. As you said, Stalkers at this point are not enough against this. The Mulus have to be dealt with Storm, and if there's no Storm then they're going to go crazy. They're killing probes left and right. And Mana once again just having his probe line devastated. And this is the point where Bly's like, these Mulus are damn good, but I don't need damn good because I've got Broodlords. That's freaking good.
Exactly. Those Mutalists, he's happy to lose them. He just want to trade well. He goes and kills as many probes as possible, takes down as many Stalkers as he can, but in the end, it is the follow-up that's the big problem for Mana. We have 3,000 minerals, 1,500 gas for Bly, and he's now heading into +2/+2 melee upgrades. He's going into additional Broodlords. He already has a fair number of them on the map. And for Mana, at 120 supply, this is just so difficult. He needs this Vortex. He's going for the Archons already. He needs the perfect Vortex to make this happen.
Yeah, and it's going to be a very difficult thing to accomplish. To rely on just a sole Vortex to have the best engagement possible, to work from minimal amounts of units, as we see Mana at 125 supply. He doesn't really have an army to deal with everything, and it is going to have to be just a Vortex. And it's funny because to rely on just a Vortex to win you the game, that's like, it's almost impossible. Is Bly really going to make that mistake? Is he going to clump everything up? Is he going to walk into the Vortex? I don't think so.
One of the things that Bly doesn't have, well, he's trying to snipe the space to the top left, is Neural Parasite. He has the resources, but he never started the upgrade. With 6 Infestors, he could go for it. And Mana actually able to save the space. A huge amount of Zergling has been committed for Bly to take down this expansion, but Mana, he saves it, at least for now.
At least for now, and he is going to start to return fire for the first time. As we see the Zealot drop coming in. Can't afford to use High Templar, sorry. We've got a small budget in this game, guys, so we're going to have to deploy a couple of 200 mineral Zealots.
Those Zerglings have just no chance. Nice block here at the ramp. But Bly's still working towards his army composition, and here comes the upgrade. Here's the Neural Parasite. He knows what's going on. He saw the Archons, and he knows what Mana is trying to attempt. Neural Parasite, as a consequence. Yeah, War Prism is gone, but all these upgrades for Bly will give him another edge over Mana. +3 attack for the air units, +3/+3 for the ground.
Yeah, that's the thoughts of Mana right now. Is a big sigh of agony as this Nexus is going to fall. There is nothing he can do about it. Another blow to the Polish player. Having difficulty. Look at the amount of Archons. He truly is banking on that good engagement, that Vortex. He knows he's behind, and now the 4th base going down as well, even more so than he was just now.
The micro in the fight is going to be so important. If Bly is able to get the funnels off against the Archons, making sure that the Archons never reach the Vortex, then he can work with those Broodlords to take them down. Neural Parasite, of course, also important. If James Bond Infestor tunnels his way into the Mothership, gets the Neural off, and suddenly there won't be any energy left for Mana to use. The Vortex will be used by Bly, but Mana is now the one who has to make something happen, and he's trying. He's walking into the Spine Crawlers, and here we go.
This is his last chance. He has the High Templar moving forward. There's the Storms coming down. Where is the all-important Vortex? There it is, and it does grab a lot of those Broodlords. I think there's only a couple of them out of it at the moment, and we are going to see the Archons enter it. Is this small percentage, this small chance that Mana has, is it going to work?
Here we go, and they all die in seconds. Bly is dropping 70 supply, 8 Broodlords gone, and Mana suddenly on the way into the 4th base of his opponent. Bly dropped in supply. Within seconds, he's down to 72 army supply against 58. Oh my god.
The smallest chance, but there are 12 Broodlords coming. That's the problem. There they are. Man Mana doesn't know about it. The 12 Brutals are going to be the worst thing in the world because he doesn't have a Vortex. He has no way to get underneath them. And these 12 Brutals, the amount of money that Bly hit in the bank, may be able to push him forward. But Mana making things happen with minimal outs, minimal odds to make it work. He did. But now he needs to do it again. And he's gambled. He's moved forward, Caldor. He's trapped. He's stuck on the natural. And these Brood Lords are going to destroy everything here.
He cannot retreat. The mothership is being built again. Here comes Bly with all those extra Brood Lords that he has. Moving in, the Brood Lords doing a lot of damage here. And Bly is just crushing Mana's force. The Polish players no chance to get in range of the Brutals, and look at this Zerg army just completely swarming Mana's forces, and everything is obliterated and destroyed. Mana down to 88 supply now.
And now it's time for Bly to move across the map. He's defeated the Protoss army with his reinforcements, the 12 extra Brood Lords, and unfortunately for Mana, he has 4 Archons, 3 cannons, and a packet of crisps. And a packet of crisps doesn't help Caldor.
Well, it helps afterwards, I guess.
Maybe now, after the defeat, maybe it can do something. But
I heard that
this,
chocolate is actually a lot better.
Usually, because this is going to be very difficult. The mothership is about to come out, but it will not have a vortex available. A Warp Prism trying to buy time for Mana to try and make something happen here. But as we can clearly see, the Brood Lord army may be unbeatable here. It may be unbeatable. Mana beat the odds before, but this time it may be too difficult.
And Mana is now losing the base as the top left. And at the bottom right, we have his Warp Prism being killed. Those few Corruptors just took it out. No chance of harassing the space anymore. Another Nexus for Mana is about to be destroyed as the Brood Lords are now just moving into the third base. Mana trying to make a last stand here. Those Archons on the move. The Mothership not for the energy that he needs for another Vortex. The Storms are good taking down those Infestors, but Bly at this point doesn't really care anymore.
Really good Storms from Mana there to try and hold on, but he is down at 87 supply. Blinks forward, just a handful of Stalkers he actually has, but here comes the Swarm, and the Swarm is not messing about this time. It is here, it's gonna stay. Nora Parasite on the Mothership, thank you very much, I'll take that.
GG.
Well played.
GG, well played indeed. Bly takes the series with a 2-0. Well played by him. Mana not able to win a single map this time. And this leaves us with a very, very weird situation in the group, doesn't it?
That is really true. You know, for both of these guys on stage right now, they don't even know that Lucifron beat Parting 2-0, which messes everything up now.
Exactly.
Despite Bly's victory, he may not be through yet. Mana is definitely through here, but I suppose we're going to have to throw it over to the analysis desk in a couple of moments' time and really figure this out. Who is through, who is not?
Everyone expected Parting to be 10-0 in this group after this amazing run that we saw at first, but now, what is the standing in the group? Who is going to advance here? Will it be Mana? Will it be Bly? What did that early win of Lucifron against Parting actually accomplish? So, guys, what's going on?
Bly isn't just breaking girls' hearts around the world. He's breaking Polish hearts right here today. Takes up Mana 2-0. Pretty convincingly.
Yeah, that was pretty surprising. I felt like after watching Bly play Parting and watching Bly play Lucifron, that he was almost certainly not going to beat Mana. Mm-hmm. And in these games that we just watched, he looked super strong.
Incredibly strong.
Yeah, his mind, well, the first game wasn't as much a mind game. I mean, maybe he did that because he thought Mana would expect something else, but Mana didn't scout well enough, he picked a good build, boom, game is over. Second game, Bly, I don't know, like he opened with the gas, and then he let Mana scout it, but then instead of pursuing the gas strategy, going for a heavy, like all-in type of play, he just gets speed, he goes one drone on gas, and then he goes up to a macro style and kind of leaves Mana in the dark, like guessing what was going to happen. Then later on, he transitions into 3-base, adds some queens, and starts going into Spire Tech.
Yeah, basically, let's jump into the replay here. I'm just going to summarize what happened at the start. This is what you just said. Bly opened with the gas. Mana saw it this time. He paid attention. But Bly, very smartly so, only mined 100 gas, made speed. And he took a quick third and made a lot of drones. And basically, Mana, he opened with a quick second cannon, and he made 2 sentries, which really puts you in a very defensive mode as a Protoss. And it puts you behind against a Zerg who does what Bly did. Bly was able to completely take off economically, and this point in the game is the first pivotal point. Basically, Bly, he went for Spire, and then he saw that his opponent was going for Phoenixes, but very smartly so, since the Spire was at least halfway through done, he let it finish, but he made an infestation pit extra just in case. And now, what happens is that those Phoenixes come here, they try to take on those Queens, and they do not end up getting any of them. Very nice defense here by Bly. And Bly now, his Spire is going to finish, and he's not making any units. He was actually still thinking. He sees that he's holding this, and behind this he's able to block the third. So right now he's really trying to think hard about what he should do. And in a minute we're going to see his decision. I think this was so smart. You see he's adding up so much gas right now.
Yeah,
and he either commits to Infestors or he commits to air. And he sees that he holds those Phoenixes. Do you think he made the right choice with Mutas?
What I was going to say is he waits. We notice that Mana scouts, and he makes one more Phoenix because he's like, okay, Bly's probably going to make Mutalisk. Like I just kind of get that feel. Like he didn't see the Spire, but he makes another Phoenix, kind of thinking that that might be the case. And Bly waits. He waits just long enough that he's like, no, I'm not going Mutalisk. And then when Mana's like, oh yeah, you're totally not going Mutalisk, he's like, boom, I'm going Mutalisk.
And you know what? Those Phoenixes, when you open Phoenix, you have to see what your opponent is doing. And now Mana, he put very little effort into seeing what exactly Bly was doing. I guess he would have seen an Infestation Pit and the Spire here and would have thought, which one is it going to be?
Right.
But you know, like in this case, Bly did not even go for Spores, so he was so far ahead at this point in the game. He does not have that many more drones, but he's going to be able to make a couple batches here and just pull so far ahead. And now he got all those Mutas. He's outnumbering all those Phoenixes, and he's going to be able to put pressure on and most likely kill a bunch of probes and basically lock Mana inside of his base. Mana, I think he should have gone for the Fleet Beacon here and get his Phoenix range, but that's not what he ended up doing. So Bly put himself in a very nice position in this game because of that. After all the Mutas he made, and basically Mana, he just tried to take a third. He could not all in at this point. He didn't have enough production facilities, and it would have been too easy to hold for Bly because he already had 3 hatches. And then you have to anticipate a macro hatch as well from your opponent. If he injects well, this is never going to work. So this was the first important thing that happened. So after that, the Mutas, they did some damage in the main. Okay, I didn't mean to show the replay right now. I just wanted to fast forward actually to like the very important fight that is shown later on over here at 12 o'clock. Basically, like those Mutas, they really try to do as much damage as they can here. They lock Mana inside of his base. He cannot leave his base right now. If he leaves his base, as soon as he reaches this watchtower, the Mutas are going to start to go to work on those probes.
Yep.
And in the meantime, Bly could just make a lot of spines and hold.
I thought it was really interesting the contrast we saw between this game with the Mutas versus Parting's game
with the Mutas.
Yeah, where Parting saw it coming. He had the response in place before the Mutas got to his base, and Bly's economy was much weaker. It was a 2-base economy versus in this game a 3-base economy. And so basically in that game, the Mutas came, they didn't really do much damage, and the economy was not strong enough to make a good transition or to make enough Mutas to get that kind of overpowering response all right away. In this game, Bly goes up to 3 bases, his economy is a bit better, and then when he builds his Mutas, he builds so many all at once that Mana is on his back foot for basically the whole rest of the game, trying to scramble, put a defense together. Doesn't have that fast third that Parting had, does not have the economy, his blink is late, loses some probes, his Phoenix tech doesn't really play out, and so we go into this game that at first glance looks relatively similar, but when you look at the nuances and the details, turns into something that's drastically different.
And I really think Mana at this point, he played well in the sense that he salvaged the situation however he could. He really tried to turtle, not to lose too much. He got his mothership out, he had a couple of Archons, and he had a great attack over here. Like I thought he was maybe going to come back. The audience did as well.
He really did a great job. He was going into the composition that he needed. He made all the right units. He just didn't have enough money.
Yeah. That's a very important point in the game as well. Like he just lost this base. He feels he has to attack and make something happen now. Otherwise he's going to be too far behind. So now he goes forward. And like for Bly, this is actually really hard to micro here. He has to get a good concave. He should have just spread out his Broodlords. But there is always the threat that he gets feedback on all of his infestors and those stalkers blink forward. But realistically, there is so little stalkers here for mana.
Yep.
So he gets a perfect vortex. Okay, so as much as Bly's move of making all those mutas and waiting to have the gas and everything was brilliant, this was horrible what just happened here. He just let all of those Broodlords get vortexed. There is so many units inside of there. Like you can see his army supply is 106, and he's gonna lose a lot of army here instantly as soon as this ends, basically. Mana with the great vortex able to kill so much here.
Mana really showed. I definitely felt like if Mana was able to, yeah, that was almost like 40 supply, 40 or 50
He lost so
supply.
much. And then there is only Corruptors, so he does get the mothership, but I guess the Corruptors survive, and they were with very low HP here. But Mana right now, he chooses to press through because he thinks that basically Bly does not have enough to hold.
Yeah, if Bly didn't have such a huge bank, there was no way he could have easily put together that big army that we did see, all those Broodlords.
I think in his place, I would have done the same too, but if you look at it as an observer, you have to realize the Corruptors left with little HP, they're all morphing right now into Broodlords, and we knew that this was not going to be pretty here for Mana. So Bly, even though he did a huge mistake here, he was too far ahead to lose at this point, and that move of pulling back the Corruptors on time and making them into Broodlords really winning him the game here at the end.
Great game. Good series.
Well played by both players.
Well played. I don't have any updates for the other games, but I do know that the next game we're going into is Nurchio versus Dystar.
Oh, sick.
Totally sick.
So sick.
I cannot wait for that ZVT. Before that, we're going to go to a quick commercial. Do not go anywhere. See you soon.